I am. So, we're kind of closing up this unit, and we'll do a lot of review because it is one of the hardest units. Actually, it is the hardest units of this semester. Next semester you have harder units. But it's really imperative that you watch these videos because as we go along past a little more and little more, you're going to notice that it gets new materials now. Now everything from here on out is going to be new. So it's really important that you really watch, understand, and ask questions about what we do in class and what we do at home in the videos. So I want to actually bring it all together for you and give you some kind of a summary of what do we do this unit. So this unit summary, real fast. This unit we talk about quadratics. Everything is about quadratics. So what's a quadratic? Quadratic is when you have an exponent of 2. Last unit was linear, exponent of 1. Now we have exponent of 2. Then we'll move on exponent of 3, 4, and etc. later on. So we have an exponent of 2. And what does that really do? So we talked about it. What does exponent of 2 do? So we did first thing. Number 1, we learned to graph. So we learned to graph. We go, okay, it's exponent of 2. I wonder what it looks like graphically. What should it look like? It looks like parabolas. Okay, so there's many forms that we graph. We graph one. It's called standard form, which looks like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Then 2, we graph vertex form, which is y equals x minus h squared plus k. We graph those two kinds of forms, standard form and vertex form. Very good. So how do you graph? We make t-tables. We find the vertex, make a t-table, plug it in and graph. Both the same thing. If you want, you actually could do some kind of relationship to like how do you find the components like horizontal shift, vertical shift, and the vertical stretch and shrink and manipulate the parent function. You could do that also. So that's all about graphing. Then 2, the thing we needed to learn was how to solve. We learned 3 ways, and today will be your 3rd way. So 3 ways so far, today will be your 3rd way. The first way you learn how to solve is called by factoring. The second way is called complete the square. And today, sorry about that. And today we're going to learn about quadratic formula. And that kind of sums up the whole unit in a nutshell. So where does imaginary come in play? Imaginary comes in play here when you're solving. And imaginary is what we learned because when we're solving, sometimes we're not going to get an answer. Sometimes we're going to get like a parabola that's above the x-axis and there's no solution there, so we create this imaginary field where we could find a solution for them. So that's where imaginary comes in when you're solving. So when you're solving, factoring won't have imaginary, quadratic and completing the square will have imaginary numbers. So why do we need to learn 3 ways? Factoring is the easiest way, but it doesn't happen often. So factoring is the easiest way. When you see something, factor it, solve it. Complete the square is kind of like factoring. It's like I can't factor, but I pick a number that will help me factor, and quadratic formula works every time, all the time. But the thing is, it's big, it's long, and it's difficult sometimes when the numbers are too big, or it's just a lot of work. So today we're going to learn about quadratic formula. And a lot of you guys remember this. If you guys don't know where it comes from just solving a general function with ax squared bx plus c equals 0 and then solving it. If you don't remember doing that from Algebra 1, ask me during class and I'll show you how to do that. But basically, quadratic formula looks like this. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. In an equation, in a quadratic equation, only where 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Remember, it has to equal 0. and the a, b's, and c's go into that equation. We're going to do a problem. Take a look. Here's my problem. Solve. First of all, can I factor? I'm looking at this. I tried it. I can't factor this. Can I complete the square? Couple reasons why I don't want to complete the square. Because there's a number in front. Remember, you don't want to complete the square when there's an a in front. And this is odd. And when you have odd, you're going to have fractions, and it becomes really, really messy. So I'm going to do quadratic formula. Now, every time you use a formula, you have to write the formula out. So I'm using the formula. I got to write it out. And why do I do that? So it helps me remember it. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now, I need to find my a, b, and c. So I write down, what's my a equal to? My a equals 2. What's my b equal to? My b is equal to negative 3. And what's my c equal to? My c is equal to 2. No, just kidding. My c is equal to 4. Alright, now I have my a, b, and c. I could take that information and plug into this equation right here. Every time I see an a, I put a 2. Every time I see a b, I put a negative 3. And every time I see a c, I put a 4. Let's take a look. X equals negative. I see a b. So what's my b? My b is negative 3. Plus or minus square root of b squared. So that's negative 3 squared. When I substitute it in, I want to put parentheses around this and make sure I substitute it correctly. Minus 4 times a. What's my a? My a is 2. What's my c? My c is 4. Question so far? Good. All over 2 times a. And my a is 2. Simplify it. X equals negative and a negative makes a positive 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. Minus 4 times a times c. 4 times 2 times 4, which is minus 8 times 4, which is 32, divided by 2 times 2, which is 4. So far, so good? Let's move this down. X equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 32 is 23. I don't know why I even asked you. Negative 23. Don't forget the negative. Divided by 4. Take a look. Can I have a negative inside a radical? No. And that's when we learn about imaginary numbers, to give you answers where you can't have stuff like square rooting of a negative. So what do you do here? You go x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of. Can't have a negative, so that's going to be 23 times I squared divided by 4. X equals 3 plus or minus. Can you simplify square root of 23? No, but if you can do, that just becomes, can you square root I squared? Yes, that's I square root of 23 divided by 4. If you can simplify anything else, then do it. If not, that's it, and that's your answer. X equals plus or minus I squared root of 23 divided by 4. How do you guys feel? Good? And in a nutshell, that's quadratic formula. Alright, this is what I'm going to do for you now. I'm going to solve a problem. I'm going to do it all 3 ways. I'm going to do it factoring, quadratic formula, and completing the square. So take a look. Factor. Easiest way. And you can't factor everything, because if you can, then you'll just factor all the time. That's the problem. So since you can't factor everything, you factor what you can. You look at this and goes, can I factor that? The answer is yes. Factoring this becomes x. Wow, the marker's really off. Give me a second. I don't know what happened between that time where I moved the screen up. The marker got really, really fast. Give me a second. Just like it was in class. Alright, take a look. Factor this. X minus 4, x minus 2 equals 0. Perfect. X minus 4 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. X equals 4. X equals 2. That's how you solve by factoring. Hopefully that looks really familiar to you and feel comfortable doing that. Take a look. Same problem, but now I want to complete the square. So the idea of complete the square is we're choosing another number to help us factor. A better number to make a complete square. So take a look. X squared minus 6x. First of all, we have to get rid of this 8. This 8 is no good. So we're going to set it to the other side. Equals negative 8. Moving it over. That should be black. Sorry. Then we find another number that'll fit. Another number that'll make this perfect. Perfect squared. Remember our formula. Negative b. Oh, sorry. So off today. B over 2 squared. What's my b? My b is negative 6 over 2 squared. Negative 6 over 2 is 3 squared, which is 9. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. Take a look. This becomes a perfect square. Therefore, it goes x minus 3 squared equals 1. Solve for this. Square root both sides. I got an x minus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3 plus or minus 1. That means x equals 3 plus 1, which is 4. 3 minus 1, which is 2. X equals 4 and 2. Is that the same answer we got before? Yes, it is. Last way. Quadratic formula. Same thing. When you do quadratic formula, you must write the equation first. My equation is x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. First things first, find my a, b, and c. My a equals 1. My b equals negative 6. My c equals 8. Plug it in. X equals negative b. I see my b there. I want to put instead a negative 6. Plus or minus square root of b squared. My b squared is negative 6 squared. Minus 4 times a. A is 1. Times c. C is 8. All divided by 2 times a. A is, again, 1. Simplify. X equals 6 plus or minus square root of 6 squared, which is 36, minus 4 times 1 times 8 is minus 32, divided by 2. X equals 6 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 32 is 4 all over 2. X equals 6. Square root of 4 is 2 all over 2. Take a look. That's 6 plus 2 divided by 2, which is 8 divided by 2, which is 4. And the other one is 6 minus 2 divided by 2, which is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So your two answers are 4 and 2. Alright, how do you guys feel? Alright, those are the 3 ways. And that's it, how you do quadratic formula. I was taught how to memorize quadratic formula in the when I was in high school, and I'll just share the story with you and see if that actually rings a bell and helps you memorize it. If it doesn't, don't, but if it does, use it. Alright, take a look. This is how I remembered it back in my day. So, it looks like this. X equals a negative, let's follow along, a negative boy who couldn't decide, I don't know, who couldn't decide if he wanted to go to a radical party or b squared and miss out minus on 4 Asian chicks, yeah, and be home all over by 2 a.m. Hopefully that helps you. If not, oh well. I know there's a song that goes on, but I don't have time to sing you the song, maybe later. But that's it. Have a good day.